Hello and welcome to Insights, the podcast with your host, Joe Pane. Join me in this deep exploration of our personal journeys from ambition to meaning, where we stop living life fast and start living life deep. This is a journey of waking up and realizing that our lives have never been about us, but about others. True success leaves positive ripple effects on other souls. I believe that success needs to be redefined from our own personal ambitious endeavors to be redefined as the value that we leave and give to others around us. Join me now as we begin this journey to deeper connections, even more fulfillment, some fun, curiosity, life, love, and all good things. Your deeper journey from ambition to meaning starts right now. Hey everyone, it's Joe here. Welcome to episode 28. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and a heartfelt gratitude out to so many of you who've been sending me some beautiful messages through Messenger and other platforms to share your gratitude in terms of what you've been learning and loving from these podcasts. And I encourage you strongly, please, to send me messages because, it just continues to encourage me to keep going in this direction that we're heading in with Insights. So I thought today what I would reflect on and share with you is an insight that I've been sharing with some beautiful people just in the last 5 days. It's May 3rd at the time of the recording of this particular episode, and we're in the middle of the corona situation, of course, and looking forward to hearing some news at the end of this week in terms of the loosening of restrictions to see what that actually means. And of course, I've been running my events and trainings from my little study here at home, which I've thoroughly loved and continue to love. And I've had the honor this week of actually training and presenting to in excess of 105 people, or just over 100 people, so about 105, 106 people. It's been incredible experience. And the reason why I share that with you is because there's a question that I asked them that I'm going to pose to you here on this episode. And the question I asked them was, why do you do what you do for a living? Why do you do what you do for a living? And as you can imagine, I got lots of, amazing responses, passion, fulfillment. I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it for, all these different reasons, It was interesting because I did a group session with a group of people from the health and fitness industry. And I did a whole training on a group who work in real estate. And it was fascinating to me how, 60, 70% of the people who answered that question in the real estate space said money. And a lot of people who are in the health and fitness space said fulfillment, making a difference, and all that kind of thing. Now, this is not a judgment, not at all. Because what I want to highlight to you here, what I would like to bring to your awareness is that the real reason why both groups got into why they do for a living, why they're doing what they do for a living, the behavioral reason was universal. And I'm going to share what that is in a moment. So, and I dare say with you, whoever you are listening to this right now with me, having this conversation or, listening into this one-way conversation, I guess, is that the universal reason why you do what you do for a living would be the same as well. Now, are there exceptions to this? Absolutely. People who are bored in their jobs or are starved of significance or feel like they don't really make any difference at all and are chronically bored in their job, the universal reason why you do what you do for a living is actually lacking. So, but if you're enjoying or loving what you do, or if you find what you're doing challenging, or you're doing it because it's an alignment to your values and you're doing what you're doing for a living all for the right reasons, then the universal reason why you do what you do for a living is the same. So here's what I shared with the 100-odd people that I had the honor of training this week from my study. I still can't believe that. I'm still beside myself with the thought of how I'm running my trainings from my room. It's just amazing. Like in a shirt that's unironed, because you can't tell whether a shirt's ironed or not on Zoom. I've discovered this. In tracky pants and barefoot. It's just phenomenal. Oh, my Lord. It's just phenomenal. I'm losing my voice because of all the different trainings I've been doing. Anyway, so let's have a chat. What does this actually mean? So whether the reason was money, whether the reason was passion, whether the reason was fulfillment, whatever the reason was, those reasons were true for all those beautiful people. Absolutely. Universally, though, behaviorally speaking, they all had the same reason. And that reason was they got into what they do for a living so they can grow, so they can grow. And I asked the question to all 100 plus people who resonates deeply and agrees with that. Enter yes in the chat box now. And I had all these yeses all over the place. So that's the reason why you do what you do for a living, is because you're doing it to grow. And if you're listening to this and you're not doing anything for a living, in the sense that you're not getting paid a stipend, but you're actually a home-based dad or a home-based mum or a full-time parent of any kind, then the same applies to all of us as well. So the reason why we are attracted to apply ourselves to anything is so we can grow. It's been said that the purpose of life is simply to love, to give, to grow. Think about it. Anything that stirs your soul, that lights your soul, that lights your spirit, that raises you, that increases your energetic vibration, or whatever you want to call it, you're doing it because you love it. It's giving value to somebody else, and you're growing. Now, here is the second layer to my message for you this week. And this is what I love about this, is that there's a particular doorway that you and I have to walk through in order to grow. And without this doorway, without us walking through this doorway, I can't think of how it's possible that we can grow. Think of anything in your life that you've had to experience or gone through, I was about to say metaphorically, I mean literally, whether it was, say, in the case of my wife, giving birth to our 2 sons, whether it was changing career, whether it was a significant geographical shift, so you've moved countries or states or cities, whether it was learning a new skill that was really important to you, whatever it was that you have done in your life, yes, it's to grow, but what's the doorway you've had to walk through? What do you call that doorway in terms of behaviorally, from a behavioral perspective? Well, I can share with you now, that doorway is the doorway called uncertainty. Uncertainty is the precursor, the prerequisite, the preliminary doorway that you have to walk through in order to experience growth. I haven't been able, and I've thought about this thoroughly. I've reverse engineered it in my mind. I've thought about this in all different ways, and I can't think of any experiences where you're growing or in a growth-like experience and you haven't embraced some kind of uncertainty, some kind of challenge, some kind of variety, some kind of adventure. Because adventure, challenge, and variety are linguistic flavors of the term uncertainty. And the reason why I thought I'd share this with you is because I've been sharing in recent podcast series, in the recent podcast episodes, going back to, I can't remember which episode it was, guys. I think it might have been episode 23 or 24 when I started speaking about the coronavirus, not in terms of the virus itself, but in terms of our reaction to it, is that I've been talking about uncertainty. I've been sharing with you how, the hallmark of an emotional adult is that an emotional adult embraces uncertainty. An emotional child does everything that they can to deflect uncertainty. And yet, if you minimize or smother or try to eliminate uncertainty from your life, you will stop growing. And your soul is designed to perpetually grow. Perpetually grow. Perpetually grow means incessantly, all the time, continually. It knows nothing else other than growing and expansion. The universe, it's been proven through quantum mechanics, is continually expanding at a rate of knots that is beyond the human imagination. Beyond the human imagination. And you and I, through our language, through our thoughts, through our focus, through our actions, through our commitments, through our responsibilities, through the roles that we play, we are expanding our own world through the language that we use to label our experience of that world. And when you make a decision to embrace a career, fatherhood, motherhood, parenthood, familyhood, learning how to play a new instrument, learning a new skill, changing direction with your career, pivoting completely on the direction of your life, whatever it might be, the secret reason why we all do this is so we can perpetually grow. It's essential to us. The essence of us is our spirit. And if you think of the word essence, essential, the core, the purity, the realness of who we really are at the core of our being is designed to perpetually grow. Everything in nature is either green and growing or ripe and rotting. The moment that we think we've arrived is the moment where it begins to end. The moment where we think we're at the end of the line is the beginning of the end. The moment that we think that we've made it is the moment we've shifted from being growth and we go to ripeness. And when we're ripe, everything in nature demonstrates clearly that the next step from ripe is death. We just start to rot away. So the doorway to all growth is uncertainty. So uncertainty has to be our best friend. Uncertainty has to be the very essence of the nature of life itself. I love this because I thought of this distinction only this week, as I said, and sharing this conversation with so many on the trainings, on the online trainings. I like calling it the call because it reminds me of, I don't know, my vintage. On the call, on these online platforms, Google Hangouts and Zoom and MS Teams and all these different platforms that I've been discovering and learning. The doorway to all growth is uncertainty. We've been closer to uncertainty than perhaps we've thought of. We've been closer to uncertainty more than we've perhaps even been consciously aware of. And if you think about or reflect on what it is that I'm sharing with you here today, I trust that you'll find that this is a deep inner core truth to you, and that growth is absolutely an essential part of who we are as a spirit, who we are as a soul, and who we are as a human being. We're designed to perpetually expand, just like the universe itself. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. You can read this in quantum mechanics, quantum physics, in all kinds of holographic sciences. There's a whole bunch of research that's been done on this where everything is continually expanding. And so we as human beings, we are part of the whole deal. Growth is what we're designed for, and uncertainty are the doorways that we continue to walk through. I love that because it completely reframes, changes the meaning of, perhaps, or significantly improves. The awareness of this significantly improves our relationship to uncertainty. And when uncertainty is our friend, my Lord, we are now living the life of an emotionally fit adult, an emotionally healthy adult, an emotionally robust adult. And uncertainty, we can place any meaning that we want on it. We can be scared of it. We can have all these fear-based drop-down menus of meaning, or we can have a love-based drop-down menu of meaning. I was just talking to in one of those trainings I ran this week, that I delivered this week, there was an owner of a business who said to me that uncertainty to him means being excited. And he runs a substantial business employing thousands of people who has ripple affected through his business, through his health and fitness business, on tens of thousands of consumers or clients or customers, or, I guess you could say consumers of his particular thing that he does. And it's incredible. To him, uncertainty means excitement. So for him, excitement is a precursor to growth. But that's another way of saying the same thing, just different language. So whatever meaning you want to spin on uncertainty, you're right. If it's scary for you, you're right. If you choose to make it exciting, you're right. If you become aware, so for me, uncertainty, I don't actually hang any meaning on it at all. All I know is that's the doorway I have to continually walk through in order to keep growing as a human being, to keep growing as a man, to keep growing as a father, to keep growing as a husband, to keep growing as a trainer, to keep growing as a coach, to keep growing in all the different roles that I play. So I trust and hope that my message this week is resonating with you deeply, that uncertainty has always been your best friend. And as I shared, it might have been 2 or 3 episodes ago, I said, this whole situation that we're all going through at the moment, is it happening to you, or are you choosing for it to happen for you? And I believe that anything that's riddled in uncertainty has always happened to us for us. If you think about it, any adversity that you've been through in life, any adversity at all, whether it's a health adversity, a financial adversity, a relationship adversity, a crisis of some kind at work or your career, look at who you became days, weeks, months, years later because of that uncertainty door that you walked through. One of my favorite sayings in life that I made up once in one of my trainings was, life is either squeezing us or we are squeezing it. And that's my way of saying we either consciously walk through the doorway of uncertainty, or if we avoid it and try to escape it, life will find us down another hallway, another corridor, where we'll have to walk through doorways still called uncertainty, but those rooms are not going to be as pretty. Those rooms aren't going to be as, how do I say this, as enjoyable, as gorgeous, as beatific. You know, if we don't consciously walk through the doorway called uncertainty, life will find another hallway for us to walk down. It's almost like we're forced to walk down, and then we're going to be walking through doorways of uncertainty that are going to be shit. Horrible in terms of health, finances, the whole shebang. So why not squeeze life? Because if you don't, it's going to squeeze you anyway, because we're here to grow. So nothing stays still. Nothing stays still. Most Australians are unconsciously addicted to certainty. They want everything to be predictable, secure, safe. That's a crazy way to live life. That is a anti-spiritual way of living life. That is it's a non-natural way of living life, because we are designed to grow, and the precursor to all growth is uncertainty. Hey, thank you so much for listening. I've thoroughly loved delivering this message for you this week. And please, if you can comment on any of the platforms, if you go to my fan page on Facebook at Joe Pane Insights and perhaps comment there, I would love to hear from you. If you've got any messages of sharing from what you've been loving from these podcast series. And obviously, I would love for you to go onto Apple Podcasts and on iTunes, I should say. Is it Apple iTunes? My marketing person will correct me if I'm giving you the wrong language, but the Apple iTunes, if you can please go ahead there and, if you genuinely feel that this is worthy of a 5-star rating, this whole podcast series, please do so. I've just noticed the other week I've got, 49 5-star reviews, and that is so incredible. So I really appreciate your support. Hey, guys, thank you so much. Enjoy your week, and looking forward to tuning in to the next episode. Bye for now. I'm Joe Pane, and you've been listening to Insights, the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're thoroughly loving the journey of these messages, please feel more than welcome to leave a review. And be sure to leave a comment on what you've been learning and how useful this has been to you, and how you've been sharing this with those around you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm looking forward to being with you again very soon in the next episode of Insights, the podcast.